Good afternoon to you. So you're bracing yourself for low enrolment numbers. Parents, as a result of this crisis, are in financial difficulty. Many are losing their jobs. What type of drop-off are you expecting?
Jeremy, at this point, it's actually it's a bit too early for us to actually quantify what the number of losses is. But what we have already seen in our category 1 and 2 schools here at ISASA, which are our most expensive, well, the more expensive schools or the higher fee schools, we've seen a reduction in those numbers. And then as we go further down, we're expecting that we're going to continue to see greater enrollment in mid-fee schools, but we do expect an aggregate reduction in fees, in number of pupils by the end of this year.
So realistically then, is there a possibility, and again it's early days, but long-term, of either schools closing, cutting back, or possibly even the retrenchment of teachers?
Regrettably, as I'm hearing, is that there is a possibility of retrenchments happening at various levels within member schools. Obviously, if your enrollment numbers do drop, you're going to have to also fit your teaching staff accordingly. So that is something that schools are now looking at, regrettably. Many of them have thankfully been able to benefit from the TERS provisions of the Department of Employment and Labour. So it is a difficult time for independent schools, but I think that this is going to be an opportunity for them to look at efficiencies, and many of them are trying to save, and actually retrenchments in independent schools are being seen as a very, very last resort. Some of our schools have already started to reduce salaries across the board to try and adjust income to expenditure.
Having said that, and I understand you using the word efficiencies, a number of the schools, private schools, have continued teaching remotely. But one of the complaints that I've heard is that it doesn't necessarily justify the full and high fees, given that the schools are not offering a full service.
You see, Jeremy, I think we need to all understand as South Africans, we're actually in a national state of disaster. Often when I interact with various people, they believe that, look, this is something that's going away and etc. But when the president actually declares a national state of disaster, that means that there's significant factors in our country that enables him to actually declare that national state of disaster and limit movement of people, closing of schools, and etc. Under that conditions, therefore, if you have been able as a parent to have some kind of continuing learning for your child, you are extremely fortunate, because the vast majority of South African children are getting no form of tuition. And also our schools and our teachers are actually working harder now than they do actually in contact learning. And also they are teaching your child to make sure that they are actually meeting expectations for their age and ability. And the danger then is they're not, the danger is for other children is that they're actually falling behind and have to catch up. So really, and we also did take legal advice from our attorneys to see if you're fulfilling a teaching remotely, are you fulfilling the terms of the contract? And the answer came back saying, yes, indeed, you are.
And I'm going to leave it there. Lebogang Monjani, thank you very much indeed.